In the black trunks here, looking to make it 18 wins out of 18 up against Darren Mclnulty from Bedworth, not too far from Coventry. Mclnulty, who's won 8 of his 19 fights so far. But he's quite resilient. In his time, he's been the distance with Andreas Panayi and Barry Thorogood. So he may give Roche something of a workout. Roche, who's from Leeds and is 25 years of age, calls himself the Rebel.
Well, really, I think that's as much as Roche as people will really want. They just really want to give him a workout. He's looking for bigger things, a British title fight if he can nail that down. But I think this is just he needs to keep busy. He needs this sort of fight just to keep active.
Roche is in line for a final eliminator for the British Championship. That would be against Michael Smythe of Wales, or he could even get a straight shot at the title. Much depends on what the champion Jeff McCreesh wants to do, having lost in a bid for the European crown. Hope you're following all that. It's quite complicated. Roche in black, remember. Roche is from the same amateur club, Bermontoffs in Leeds, which produced Crawford Ashley, who has gone on to be a leading domestic pro at light heavyweight. Not seen too much of Roche as yet, have you, Glenn?
No, I haven't. I think he's just been hit away a little bit up there in Leeds, but he's on the verge of making the breakthrough, and I think he's improving and he's starting to get exposure.
Like the way he dug in that left hook to the body there. Mclnulty's been around the 6-round circuit for years, currently on a comeback after 4 years out of the business for personal reasons. Since he's come back, he's won 1 and lost a couple, but both the defeats were on points. He wasn't stopped.
Mclnulty boxing quite well off the ropes there, showing a bit of talent. He's tall and just needs to get that jab working to try and test Roche.
Rather out of range with it for the most part, though, in the first round, Mclnulty. Quietish beginning. And there is Derek Roche from Leeds, and they get behind their boxers in that part of the world, as Henry Wharton can testify.
This is Roche just trying to go on the attack. He just stopped there. He should have followed through. Just a little wary of Mclnulty in the opening round. Mclnulty managed some success himself, looking to get body punches there, turning the left hook to the body into the head, but Roche just managing to get his gloves up and parry that one.
Bonus 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 2.
Second round of this 6th rounder then. Derek Roche, unbeaten, remember, in 17 in the black trunks, and the blue of Bedworth's Darren Mclnulty, who's a couple of years older. Mclnulty with this height and reach advantage, if he can make it pay for him. Roche just looking for a way to get inside, you feel. Not doing too much at the moment.
No, he's looking to dominate. He's getting the centre of the ring, pushing Mclnulty back against the ropes. But he just needs to find his range. Just standing off and just admiring his work there. Needs to press home a little quicker.
Roche certainly does have one eye-catching name on his record. Chris Saunders, the former British welterweight champion from Barnsley. Roche floored him twice and stopped him in 4 rounds. I'm not quite sure how much Saunders has got left. He certainly isn't the force he was obviously in his British title days, but that's a good win.
Yes, it's a good win, and it shows he's coming along quite well. As we said, he's on the verge of a British title fight, so that will have given him a lot of confidence.
His defence looking pretty tight as well there, Roche, and he's scoring spasmodically with some quite solid body shots when he does get inside and in range.
Yes, he's managing to keep his style and his stance together, blocking shots on his arms.
Britain rather needing a new welterweight star as well. I remember those great fights with Colin Jones and Kirkland Lang, and there was Lloyd Hannigan. We're looking for somebody. Whether Roche is that somebody, well, the jury would still be very much out on that. He's just on the way through at the moment. You might draw your own conclusions. Good chance for you to have a look at somebody like Roche on the way up.
It looks like he's picked up a bit of damage to the left eye, Roche. There's a little smearing of blood, I think.
There's certainly a little bit of eye damage by the left eye to Derek Roche. Faster hands there. This is more purposeful. Roche is boxing quite conservatively so far. He's having a good look at McLnulty, and there is that cut left eye.
Yes, and it looks quite a bad one in a bad place, and I think maybe he just felt the blood that spurred him on in this round, just picked up the pace, pushing McLnulty back, looking to get strong body punches in there. But McLnulty just managed to keep his hands up, didn't come apart under that attack. And that's a good right hand from Roche there, pushing him back, and this was a much better attack. McLnulty still trying to keep together, block the shots, but certainly there's a couple of decent punches in there from Roche.
Seconds out. Round 3.
Third round, Roche in black, remember. The blue of Darren Mclnulty, the 27-year-old from Bedworth. This fight was made just above the welterweight limit. That was to protect Roche's status in case of some kind of setback here. Al Hutchin, by the way, is the referee scoring this. Body punches would appear to be the answer for Roche here, you'd think.
Yes, he's just having difficulty getting to the head, so he's got to concentrate on the body. McLnulty keeping his hands up quite well, so Roche has got to try and bring those arms down. I think McLnulty was dabbing at something there, I'm not sure. The heads are coming close, and I think maybe both of them have picked up damage because of that.
The referee has already told them to watch the use of the heads as well. And they are coming pretty close together. Messy sort of round this though so far.
Yes, I think McLnulty maybe just been caught a couple of times, looking to hold now, not coming back with any clean work himself.
Roche out of range with his jab a couple of times. He's rather fighting in fits and starts at the moment, isn't he?
Yes, he's just having difficulty getting his distance right. He's standing out and he's keeping himself solid, but he's having difficulty getting in close. When he gets there, he's not landing many clean punches.
Both of them finding it hard to hit the target in this round. An awful lot missing.
Well, Mclnulty very negative in this round, and I think that's just spoiling the fight for Roche, who's not able to land clean punches.
Well, Roche will want to improve on this. He'll be looking to impress as well as win, I'm sure, on his way through. Welcome back to the St Andrews Sporting Club. You're watching the unbeaten welterweight from Leeds, Derek Roche, in the black trunks here, up against Darren Mclnulty of Bedworth, who's looking to make something of a comeback after walking away from the sport after a couple of stoppage defeats a few years back. Fourth fight in Mclnulty's comeback. Roche has found it hard to get through consistently or impress here.
Yes, I think Mclnulty has just been too negative, and I think that's stopped Roche looking good. Mclnulty often goes back against the ropes, and then he's looking to hold, and I think that's not helping Roche.
Fair right uppercut from Roche in that exchange. I think Roche has been winning the rounds.
That was a good right hand from Roche. The legs just seem to stiffen.
Mclnulty with a swelling underneath the left eye. And a cut by the left eye of Roche. More positive from Mclnulty.
Well, really, that's what Mclnulty needed to do. He needed to try and get centre of the ring, try and use his height and reach and keep Roche on the end of the jab, but Roche quickly manages to get in range and bustle Mclnulty against the ropes.
That right hand is a good shot. Plenty of power there. He not only backward the knees, this time it puts Mclnulty down, up at the count of 7. Mandatory 8 count, of course, these days in British rings. Now that was best yet from Roche. Heavy right hand.
Yes, that was a solid overhand right. Mclnulty quickly down, Roche not able to follow up.
Roche has won 10 of his 17 so far by stoppage, and I thought for a moment there the body punches were going to put Mclnulty down again. It almost looked for a moment there, Glenn, as if he was thinking of taking respite on the floor.
Yes, I think he just bent down there. The knee started to dip, and then he sort of slipped back through the ropes. Just managed to keep himself on his feet. But this is much better now for Roche.
He senses it too. Drawing in the punches, the bell comes as welcome respite for Darren Mclnulty. Well, Roche had been winning the fight, but unimpressively up until that round. But there, I think he really started to get to Mclnulty in a pretty big way.
Yes, he got the breakthrough with the overhand right. It just landed on the top of the head. He didn't quite get its flush, but it was still powerful enough to deck Mclnulty.
Good shot. He was down for a count of 7 from referee Al Hutchin.
There's Mclnulty on the attack here, trying to get through with the left hook. But McAnulty still managing to keep his guard high.
5th round then. In this 6th rounder at welterweight. Now can Roche build on that excellent 4th round? Roche on the left of the picture as you look at them, and the black trunks. Roche was actually born in Ireland but qualifies for the British title because he's lived in this country for years now. Well, not this country, England actually, but you know what I mean.
Well, he's on top now, Roche. He's finding McAnulty with the right hand quite regularly.
Good one through the middle there. And McAnulty looking to get the gloves up again in the corner.
Well, McAnulty on the defensive now. He's pretty much in survival mode, with Roche very much on top.
Roche has just bit by bit worn his man down. It's been a patient effort from Roche. Good right hand again.
Yes, that's been his best punch over the last couple of rounds. He's got the measure of that one.
Roche is certainly not a spectacular operator by any stretch of the imagination, but he's one of those fighters who looks pretty strong and somehow always gets the job done.
Yes, he looks strong and determined. He's a little conservative, but keeps his style and his stance together very well. I think maybe a different style fighter will bring better out of Roche, because McAnulty has been very much on the defensive and is long and is at times difficult to pin down.
Yes, there have been times in there where Roche must have felt he was in with an octopus.
Yes, McAnulty just picking away with that long jab, enough just to keep Roche off balance.
Well, Roche has this big fight lined up, final eliminator against Michael Smythe of Wales. That'll be interesting. And I'm sure we're going to find out in the next few months how good this fellow can be. Bit of a difficult one for him, this, mentally, because he's just sort of marking time. He has to win it to stay where he is.
Yes, there's not a great deal for him to gain. He just needs to get a win. The reputation will not be enhanced by this victory, but he can't afford to look poor. He's still got to try and impress. So fights like this are often difficult. He's certainly doing enough. He's winning this fight handily, Roche. But I think he wants to try and look good, and with this sort of opponent, he's not really able to do that.
McAnulty hit with a right hand through the middle there and sagging back against the corner cushion in the red corner.
Corners 10 seconds. Seconds out. 6. Match round.
The final round then. Roche in black, McAnulty in blue, and McAnulty, no question about it, if he wants to win this, he's going to need a knockout or stoppage. And since he's only ever produced one of those in 19 fights, that would be very much odds against, and particularly as Roche seems to have this nicely under control. More of a possibility would be Roche forcing the stoppage even this late.
Yes, well, I think he's got to try for that. He's got to keep the pressure on McAnulty. He's trying to work. McAnulty he knows his way around the ring and is competent to grab and hold when he needs to and cover up when he has to on the ropes.
Mclnulty. First sign of real positive aggression we've seen from him for some time. But he's been brave enough, Mclnulty. He's in with a fighter who's a league ahead of him. Fighter on the way up with an unbeaten record. He's been put in here as the opponent. He's done his best, but he's just been outgunned and outworked all the way through.
Yes, he's done his best to try and make a fight of it, but he's been far too negative to look like ever really getting into the fight. Picked up some eye damage, Mclnulty. He's had a mark there for a while. I think it maybe has just started to cut his eye.
There's nasty swelling under that left eye. Roche's corner have done a good job with his cut above the left eye. It's getting late now if Roche wants the stoppage, but I think he certainly has the points in the bag here. You'd think that Roche would be a long way ahead on referee Al Hutchins' scorecard.
Yes, on my card I've given Roche the last 5 rounds. Maybe there's an argument about the first for an even round, or possibly Mclnulty was busy, but since then everything's gone very well for Roche.
Not much happened in the third. I suppose stretching a point, you might have made that even as well, but he probably is stretching a point.
I think Roche will be happy to get this one out of the way and look for a bigger fight and a bigger name on his record.
Roche has the win anyway. 18 straight victories for him, and he's on his way for a final eliminator against Michael Smythe of Wales, maybe. He had been due to fight Spencer McCracken of Birmingham in a British title eliminator, but McCracken is said to have withdrawn from that. So the picture's a little complicated, but I think things will happen for Roche. Exciting fights are ahead for him, exciting times, defining times in his career, and the result here was never in much doubt, though it wasn't that spectacular, save that knockdown in round 4.
Gentlemen, the referee Al Hutchins scored the contest. Derek Roche, 59. Darren Mclnulty, 54. Your winner in the blue corner, Derek Roche.
Well, Roche winning by a 5-point margin there, and it was that emphatic.
Gentlemen, you show your pieces.
And the